Wednesday was the earnings call for Q3. Tesla earnings came in 3 pennies shy of expectation. What a tragedy. I think we'll manage to survive. Today, what we're going to be talking about was some of the things that were raised in the call that are a bit beyond automotive. We're talking about Optimus. We're talking about grid scale energy storage. And if we're going to talk about that and a bit more, we got to talk with our friend Herbert, who is brighter and makes us brighter. And for that, we are grateful. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Herbert, you caught the earnings call. First question would be, how did you feel about it, generally?
I came out feeling very, very good about it. But it was one of those, reading the financial report was disappointing. You read it. It was pretty blah to me. We looked at the numbers. We're concerned about some metrics and very excited about other metrics. But the rest of it, there was no forward-looking statements. There was no mention about, new products like vehicles. They didn't talk about robotaxi, really, except for they just said, here's what we accomplished. That was it. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. First time, really nothing popped out. Then the call happened.
It felt very clinical.
Pretty straightforward. Which I'm told that other companies' earnings calls are very much like that. It's all supposed to be very, very boring. It's all about just what just happened, and you should have already known everything that happened. Then the call started happening again. I started getting worried. Elon's intro, nothing new. Vaibhav's intro, nothing new. Just all about what happened and repeating it. And then only in the Q&A that saved it. All of a sudden, big things came out on the Q&A. And you and I just did a show of the top 3 things that we think, I think, and you think as well, that are very important that came out of there. The comments about robotaxi, taking out the safety drivers, the safety monitor in Austin, parts of Austin by the end of this year. 8 to 10 markets. It's a lot less than he had promised, but it's still 8 to 10 markets by the end of this year. Optimus, I'm still kind of digesting it. I'm still trying to do some calculations to think whether or not it is a good thing or a bad thing. I think that in the sense that if he had not given outrageous numbers, now he's pulling them back. So you're like thinking it's all negative because you were expecting 5 to 10,000 bots this year. You're expecting 50,000 bots next year and so forth. Now it's like it's a lot lower numbers.
All right.
But
yes.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, let's get into some of that. Can Optimus deliver on greatest product of all time? You remember the last greatest product of all time? It turned out to be a Segway scooter. That one, I think, got a little overhyped, especially since they wouldn't tell us what it was. Optimus, we know what it is. Can it live up to the hype? And does the delay?
So I'm a big believer in humanoid robots. I do think that it's going to be the greatest product of all time. It's going to address the largest market that's ever been addressed, $44 trillion, 10 times bigger than oil and energy and auto and pharmaceutical firm, all these other things. Embodied AI is the name of the game. I'm a believer of that. I agree with, Elon's statements on it. Even Jensen Huang says the same thing. But sort of the way I'm like with CERN, we both kind of positioning it this way. It's going to be a lot more conservative at the very beginning, and then it hits these massive, unbelievable numbers. So people are jumping the gun. So I just want to explain that you got to understand what's happening. So what is it? January of last year, Scott Walter and I were the only people that were doing videos talking about the coming humanoid robot. And we did many, many videos on it. And people are like fighting us. You guys are crazy. It's never going to happen. Not in my lifetime, 5 to 10 years out. Then in the course of 6 months, from January to June of last year, drop after drop of demos, company after company being announced, money being poured into this thing. And people are realizing, oh my God, robots are here. Today, this year, now you're hearing people with these crazy ideas thinking that robots are here. We're going to have them in our homes. They're going to be able to, they're going to mass produce them. And can you not see all the Chinese and they're all the... Okay. That's where you realize, no, stop. These are demos. Demos are not production, number one. When you see a demo of a bot dancing, it doesn't mean that that bot can be made in mass. And when they do, how long can they last? That elbow, when it carries something, how long does that last? 3 months? I spoke to one of the CEOs and he told me that his actuators break in 6 months. So you need to design a actuator. The actuators are so finely tuned that this bearing design thing, and it's moving so much. And if you put any pressure and you break it, make something just a little bit slightly off center, everything breaks. That you need to. This design is so difficult to make that it takes 10 days to make one actuator. Like this one company.
Oh,
It's ridiculously long to make this actuator. And they need 40 per bot. And so that's why they can't make. Okay. So now temper that they're not ready. Hardware is not ready this time to make that many bots yet. So then people start getting very depressed and they go, oh, human bots will never happen again. No, again, it's going to be one of those things where it's slow. It's going to be huge hiccups like this, slows it down. And you can see from Elon, he initially goes, oh, we're going to have 5,000 to 10,000 bots this year and 50,000 bots next year, and we're going to have 1 million. Well, then he pulled back and it didn't happen because there was an issue with one of the parts, which is the actuators, linear actuators specifically, that they had trouble. And Elon kept repeating how we need to be vertically integrated. What he says is that there's no supply chain out there. We need to build it ourselves. So if we have to build a part ourselves, that's a whole new product. I have to design it. I have to create a factory for it. I have to start producing that. And there's these rumors, people are talking about that. Oh, did you hear about this Chinese factory that the rumors that they're making so many parts for Tesla and for other companies? I think Scott and I believe that those are kind of not true.
I believe that as well. It was a single source rumor. You know how I feel about those.
Right. I remember you always say that. Number one, it's a rumor. But two, I just don't think Tesla is going to outsource the most important part of a humanoid bot, the actuators. They're going to make it themselves, and they're going to control that. They want to own it. They want to make it. They want to, iterate on it. That's the most important part of a bot. They're not going to. Yes, there's going to be a bunch of things that they need to buy from other manufacturers. I just don't think so. And then if it's another part that you don't want, because if Chinese manufacturer makes it, guess what? Every bot company will be able to just buy it off.
Sure.
Copy it immediately.
Sure.
And so I don't think that's what's going to happen. Anyways, so I think that's what slowed them down. Now he's talking about we're going to be able to do 1 million Optimus, a production line that will be able to accommodate 1 million Optimus a year. That's just the production line. So version 3 is going to be coming out, in March of next year, he said. Q1, most likely March. That's when he'll unveil it. That's when they'll have a production line. He said that was one of the most important lines in the financial deck. That the production line version, a production version of Optimus is being built. It's going to start this year. And so that is... I think that so my point being that it's going to be very slow. And then all of a sudden, by the end of next year, they'll be able to do, I don't know what the number would be, but it's going to be significant. And then it's going to skyrocket. So yes, this is eventually going to be the biggest product ever made. It's just going to take a lot longer than people realize before we get there.
So the answer to the question is yes, it will live up to the hype, and yes, it's worth the wait.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, Elon talking about the compensation plan, hey, maybe don't use the phrase robot army quite so much. I feel like that's going to put a bad thought in some people's heads. But here's my solution, by the way, if you're worried about a robot uprising, is just connect them through Amazon Web Services and just wait, because it's going to be, that was a fun little thing last week for those of you whose smart beds were locked in the upright position with the heat on high. My apologies. That was interesting times.
Yeah.
There are other sections. The one I'd like to talk about a little bit is stationary energy. I had Jordan Giesecke on my show on Wednesday, and we were talking about where are we getting batteries? Are there enough LFPs? Could we make another 2 or 3 or 10 megafactories? And is there enough demand? He said there's definitely demand. There's some supply. Talk to me about where we're at with stationary storage and why it's so important.
So again, it's nuance, right? Because it sounded like that we were initially this quarter, we were worried that there was going to be a dip in demand, and they confirmed that there won't be a dip in demand for this quarter. That's great. They did not give guidance for what's going to happen next year. They did confirm, right, that these batteries are absolutely important for AI data centers. And so, and then they said that that the LFP factory is the lithium refinery is on track, and that's coming out next year, first quarter of next year. So, I think that energy is going to be the most important thing. Also, was the margins, record margins over 30%. Something that we initially thought was going to happen, and then they pulled back, and now it's 25%, and now it's back to 30%. So that's a big
Prices
deal.
keep falling.
Yeah. Well, so the problem, right, is that there is competition. The tariffs hit them with $400 million this year. Half of the 400 $200 million was tariff on energy. But at the end of the day, it sounds like everything's on track, right? They've got their factories being built. The demand is, I think they said that the mega block had great response from the customers. So this is going to be great. Now, the energy is going to surprise all of us in terms of impact to margins and to sales, that it's going to make mute any issues with the car sales going down, or the regulatory credit going down, or the IRA credit going away. I think at the end of the day, that kind of covers it. The growth in energy is enough to cover all that. And that's what we saw in this quarter's financials.
Mm-hmm. And worth noting, the ZEV credits are kind of dead already in the US. Tesla still showed over $400 million in credits because the US is only one market, and the credit market exists around the world, sometimes even in single states that have where it's still in effect. That number I expect to see continue to fall, but it's not, I do not believe, going to fall to zero. On the mega packs, it's great to see that we do have the LFP battery factory in Sparks, Nevada, near Sparks, Nevada, coming online shortly. The lithium refinery in Corpus Christi coming online. Those are going to help, but the mega factory in Shanghai isn't subject to the same kind of tariffs. The materials never flow through the US. I think that's going to be a bit of a saving grace. How big of a deal is energy to the overall picture of Tesla?
Yeah, there you go. Look, I'm ready. Share with my screen here. This is
yes, sir.
Slides created by Søren Basher. Fantastic slides, as he always does. And he shared this today at my live stream. And he showed that here is the components of revenue for Tesla. Q3 2025 is the last column here. And in red is the auto revenue without the credits. The blue is regulatory credits. The green is energy. And the yellow is services and other. So you can see that, first of all, everybody's talking about revenue, regulatory credits going away, and Tesla's going to go bankrupt. And, well, it's such a minor thing to the company.
It looks like a washer in between two other things.
And the growth in services surprised everybody, and we're like going, "Where is this? What's that? Is it?" Some people thought that it's actually the first inklings of other auto companies using superchargers.
Yes, it could be because you're going to pay a higher fee or a monthly subscription. That money shows up. So
yes, regulatory credits is going away, but the supercharger revenue from other autos is going to replace it. So it's almost like it's a wash. And then the growth in energy, you can see here that it's enough to, not worry about the IRA credit or the reduction in auto sales and all that. So that's just a way for you to visualize it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's all very exciting. That's all very encouraging. Opinion question for you. This is just your personal opinion. Comp plan gonna pass?
Yes.
I think so too.
And there are several reasons. Yeah. The first reason is that it's now based on Texas corporate law. And it turns out that Texas corporate law allows for this kind of specific proposal for his compensation plan, you only need 50% plus one. If 50% goes in your way, yes vote, then it's approved. As opposed to Delaware, where you need to have 2/3, right, 66%, whatever. So it's only 50%. The other thing about corporate law in Texas, it allows Elon Musk and his brother Kimball to vote. Okay. So that's 15% right off the bat. It's going to be positive. So Alexander Mertz feels very confident that this is going to pass. Kalshi, whatever the Kalshi, the betting site, 94% say that people in general believe it's going to pass, and the crowd seems to be very accurate. They seem to have a very accurate guess. We don't know, but it appears that Alexander thinks if you add up retail, ARK Invest, Ron Barron, like some of the big players, maybe Vanguard, others, that we should pass 50%. On the other side, people are going, Elon's starting to tweet about please vote. He's very upset with the ISS and Glass Lewis, who are proxy voters, voting companies, and they basically are the ones that decides how index funds should vote, and they've come out and said no. So now, is his concern about that because he's worried about the vote? Or is his concern about it because he's really upset that this is a entity that can actually damage corporations? And so that part I don't know. But
yeah, I could see it being either one. I could see if I was in his shoes, and I would say, look, all these companies say they get it, and you're standing alone saying, no, we don't get it. I think it's going to pass handily, because in retail, I only know a handful of investors who do not support it,
right.
And they do not have many shares. Whereas I probably have more shares than all of them combined. And I'm, not a big player. And then on the institutional side, they want the big returns. If this is how they get them, they'll do it. You're not going to get those big returns. Elon's not going to get paid unless the returns happen. I think that's enough coverage on that. We've been over it before. But guys, if you want to talk robots for real, head over to Brighter, because he routinely talks robots. He's interviewed more robotic CEOs than anyone that I'm aware of. You're up there quite a bit now, and find out what's going on and then report back, because I'd have no time. I have no time. Guys, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? Leave it in them comments below. Huge thanks to Herbert for hanging out and making us brighter, and everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots, perhaps at the shareholder meeting in just a matter of days, where Herbert and I will both be, and at the Cyberfest and Furious in Tampa, where I will be unaccompanied by Herbert this time. See you soon, guys.